Hello, everybody. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whenever you're hearing this. Another episode of Comics Podcast. We are three-fifths of Comics Podcast. We got Andres, our horror and X-Men fanatic and expert here, and we got our wrestling and shenanigans expert, Ash, here as well. And I am your host for today. Real quick,
Wow, bitches.
wild card bitches. No one needs a wild card. Um, we typically go talking about before we go into our nerd news entertainment, which is what this podcast is. It's a very lighthearted conversation, roundtable conversation that encourages you, whoever's listening to this, to engage in that as well. Send us a comment, shoot us a message.
Message.
We will talk about it on the next episode, and we will highlight you on the next episode too. Aside from nerd news entertainment things, we also like to showcase what are we drinking today. And I really wish I would have talked about this before the show, which I did not. But I know Andres has something in his hands, and I am curious what it is.
Christ,
Even if it's iced tea. What are
I
you
was
drinking?
not prepared for that, but I made myself an old fashioned,
Yay.
and that's what I'm drinking tonight.
What kind of whiskey did you use for your old fashioned?
I bought a bottle. I'm not the biggest Jack Daniel fan, but I saw they had this bonded bottle, which usually bottles in bond are like pretty high quality whiskey.
Oh.
So I was like, I'm sure it's just a gimmick. I tried it. It's okay for Jack Daniels, not, I wouldn't buy it again, but that's what I made out of it.
Got it. Funny you say Jack Daniels. I was like, I need a little spruce me up, and I found those little Jack Daniels. So you see me wincing in a little bit. That'll be the reason why.
Yeah.
Ash, would you mind running through the topics that we have today? A very little teaser topic before we get into the show today.
It's Andres.
I was going to say
that's what I meant.
He was going to say he would if he had it up, but since he doesn't, I will.
Thank you.
So we'll be talking about Rick and Morty, Dune, Godzilla, King Kong, sequel news, news on PlayStation raising prices, and Five Nights at Freddy, Peacock streaming on Peacock coming up, initial Ashoka review, and you're gonna touch on One Piece.
You know what I mean?
My One Piece. Well, before we go into that, just a little two very quick things. If you're listening to this on our YouTube, please hit that thumbs up button. It really does help us out to help our algorithm be spread out to other people so they can listen to our content as well and help us grow the channel. So we appreciate you guys for that. But also just peeling the curtain a little bit into our personal lives. Andres just went on vacation and wanted to hear about that. Where did you go, sir?
So we had not a ton of time planned to go to. We ended up going to Epcot. So we had friends going to Orlando. They invited us to go with them and spend, I guess, a couple days at the timeshare they had rented out. So we planned to go along with them, and we only had time to stop at one resort, so we only went to Epcot, and it was a really good time.
Good, man.
Even though we got some, there was a hurricane on the other side of Florida going on, yeah. So we just got it stormed pretty hard, like right when we got out of Guardians of the Galaxy, and we were like, it was still hot outside and like really muggy when it was raining. So I was taking a video of the spaceship, I guess that's supposed to be the model that you're on that ride, and it just started pouring hard. So I was like, oh, fuck this, it's time to go.
Yeah.
So
how long were you at the park before you decided to call it a day?
We stood even after the rain. They have that big like bakery / Starbucks center. So we went in there and stood in there for the rain. We only stood in there for like an hour. Then we went back into the park. So we didn't let that rain deter us.
Heck yeah, man. How's your kid on the flight?
So it's really good on it, except for how the cabin pressurizes and her ears were like popping on the way down, so she was screaming bloody murder.
Oh.
But until that point, she enjoyed it getting on it, and takeoff. It was just the landing that was rough for her.
The landing was rough. Oh, poor
Yeah.
thing. Oh man. Well, I know they say that like when you're really really young, it's like very painful. Also,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't fucking remember, but supposedly it is like for their
Like I could
eardrums.
feel it now. Like it was like, oh, this is uncomfortable. But yeah, she was like fucking wailing.
Like,
So
something's happening. I don't know what this is.
I was like, fuck my ears. You're yelling to it. But yeah, it was
Right
enjoyable.
on, man. That's awesome, dude. I'm glad you got to experience that. I was before the show I was mentioning that um my wife wanted to have something to look forward to because that's as an adult that's what you need, you know, it's your normal
To keep going.
yeah, man. Like if
Wake
even if
up
it's
another day.
exactly, if you got a shitty day, I'm one day closer to that thing, whatever it is that I have. And so that's like my philosophy in life to always have something to look forward to. And so she booked a Vegas weekend for us in I think we're staying at Luxor, I think. Not Brian. We stayed before and I was telling her like, oh, just make sure it's really inexpensive. But then I thought, I'm like, I also don't want it to be too cheap. Because I remember like a couple years ago we went to no, not couple. It was more than that. It's close to 10 years ago. We weren't dating at the time. And I stayed at Excalibur for a couple days, for a couple nights. And I brought bed bugs home with me.
Oh shit, man.
Dude, I do not wish that on anybody. It sucked. Like the first like when I got back home, so apparently the way that you can bring bed bugs back is if you leave your suitcase on the bed. You're not supposed to put it on the bed. You're supposed to put the suitcase on those little racks.
Yeah.
If it has bed bugs. Good hotels typically don't because they're supposed to bleach out all the fucking sheets or whatever.
Clean, you mean?
Yeah, clean.
Yeah.
And so because they hide in the little crevices in the side of the mattress. So when the lights are off, they went to my suitcase is my theory. And then I brought them home. So again, when lights are whatever. And so like the first time I remember, like I would feel something like crawling on my neck and I thought it was just an itch, how like you just get like a random itch or whatever. And so I slapped my neck, but it felt wet. And so I turned the light on and it's a bunch of blood. I'm like, and it looked like a little cockroach. I was like, but I didn't put two and two together. Motherfucker, they were draining me. And so then like after maybe like 4 days later, I was like, I had a bunch of like bumps on my hands and my feet because it's like from the edges of my mattress. And oh, the rest is history. Like they were fucking everywhere. They like migrated to my sister's room. It was just me and her in an apartment at the time. And like we have to call the fucking apartment complex to be like, you guys need to fumigate this shit.
Yeah.
We have to toss those mattresses. Like, dude, it was hell. Like these little fuckers, like it is so annoying. But that was my lesson about staying in a cheap hotel.
Moral of the story is don't stay at the Excalibur.
I'm not trying to shit on the Excalibur.
There is this TikTok I follow, and it's like this lady from Vegas, and she like goes through I guess like the best places and the worst places to stay, like other stuff, not just to stay, like places to eat and
sure
to do to hang out. And yeah, Excalibur's on that list. Fucking Rio is on that, like places I'm not to go.
What's funny is when you go to these places, it's like you walk in, it still feels like the late 80s or the early 90s in there. Yeah. Like the carpet hasn't changed. Everything just feels so dated. It's strange. But
by the way, the Luxor is on that list, friend.
Ah, God damn it. I got on a deal.
For your wedding, I stayed at the Excalibur. Now I'm all like fucking scared.
Yeah, you're fine. Just don't
it's been a month and a half or so.
Yeah, you definitely would have felt them. Yeah, just now I'm all paranoid about leaving my suitcase on top of my bed. Even with like really nice hotels, I can't help it. Anyway, well, moving on to the topics. What is our first topic again, sir?
First topic is on October 15th is Rick and Morty's new season. Sounds more like them than ever. It's gonna premiere on Adult Swim.
So it looks like these Adult Swim is uh, they've been really coy about saying are they gonna how they're gonna replace the voice.
Yeah.
Polar Opposite is another show that the creator Justin Roiland, the creator of Rick and Morty, also created, which is on Hulu. And in that one, Mose actually watches it. She was telling us in the last episode that they he damaged his voice, they repaired his voice and repaired it with a British accent, but they played on it. They're just like, no, I like this. Fuck you guys, I'm British now. And then it just and that was the only reference they made to it. And then he's like, oh yeah, and every time we have a flashback, my voice will be British then too. And like and they move it out like and they did it in such a silly way to do it. And in this case, it looks like it's gonna be an impersonator, or impersonators, to be Rick and Morty. And so that's where Adult Swim's official comment to the new season is like they sound more like themselves than ever, which is they're clearly leaning into it. And then they also made a statement about we're going to do this for 100 years, and then it's like part of their tweet was or at least 10 seasons, like, and this is the 10th season. So again, they're like, you guys might hate this, like we may end it here. But she's like, we're going to do this forever or just this season. Like, so they're clearly, they know what they're up against and they're just kind of seeing how we feel about it. Ash, I know you're not the biggest fan of the show, but any sentiment on the season 10 voice actor? I know we've covered this story a couple times over the last couple weeks.
Again, the only episode I saw was the Mises episode and the one where they go to that wedding where everybody fucking dies.
Mm.
Those are the only two episodes I've seen. It's been cool. Doesn't make me laugh like Beavis and Butthead, but that was my era.
Sure.
So I won't go back to that. But as long as he sounds exactly like, as long as if I ever binge it, it's not 9 and then 10. They sound like him, but it's not.
Speaking of binging it, binge season 1. I know you said you only seen 2 episodes. Watch season 1 the whole way through, because that first episode I saw was where Morty gets a little head gadget to read the minds of animals, and you find out that the squirrels are like pieces of shit. And so I saw that episode, and then I didn't see it again for about a year because me and Andres talked about this about hating their fan base. And then when I actually sat and saw season 1, I'm like, oh, this has heart too. Like it's a genuinely well written show.
And it's actually funny. I think that there will be moments in the show where you do laugh out loud, like you did.
Yeah.
So
give it a shot.
I think you need to give it a shot.
I've always liked, and he's always random, the Saturday Night Live guy. The dad.
Oh,
it's Chris.
I was gonna say Chris Parnell, but it's not him, is it?
I think it is.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it is. But yeah, he came out in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like he's always like, if you've been any alumni of Saturday Night Live, he just shows up on their show, their movie, their whatever.
Yeah, Chris Parnell, you're right.
Oh,
Jerry Smith. And then the girl from Scrubs is the mom, which is interesting.
Oh, okay.
Sarah Chalk. Yeah, Sarah Chalk. Yeah.
The second
the main love interest of what's his
Sarah
face?
from the second daughter, not the original, not Darlene.
I know what you meant. I know the actress Elliot. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, she plays the mom. But yeah, no, it's a genuinely funny show. You mentioned Beavis and Butthead last time. Have you seen the reboot of Beavis and Butthead on Paramount Plus?
No, but thanks to you on Paramount Plus, I was watching the old stuff. I was laughing as if, what I loved about Paramount Plus is it's not like, I don't know, it was on Netflix or whatever it was on. It didn't have any of the music videos.
Yeah.
It's just half the reason you're laughing. It's like, the story's cool, but like the more, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But on Paramount Plus, it has the video, so it was like fucking cooler. But I haven't seen anything.
Watch the reboot. So if the OG one, for anyone listening to this looking for a recommendation, there's Beavis and Butthead, the normal MTV one. It's got like 10 seasons on there. Or if you search Mike Judd's Beavis and Butthead, that's the reboot. And there's 2 seasons to that, I think. Dude. Same voice cast, by the way. The humor aged with its audience.
Oh, cool.
It's
Okay.
still ridiculous. They still have their segments of music videos, which they're not known artists because I'm sure there's like licensing shit that they have to do with now. But it's like I'm sure if you're an artist that you're like, oh wow, they're making fun of my shit, like cool, more people will get to like,
Watch.
see it.
Yeah.
And it's just the topics that they do is just so stupid.
Frog baseball.
Stupid, but so great. Yeah, no, you would enjoy. You would enjoy it. I was watching it the other day, and I thought about you because you were telling me about it, and I was like, God, this fucking holds up, man. It's so good. What about you, Andres? I know we went back and forth a little bit on the topic of Rick and Morty. Yeah. If it's accessible, are you just gonna watch it?
I don't. What is it streaming on, by the way? Is it on Hulu?
Max. Eventually on Max. I think it premieres on Adult Swim, and then like in a month or 2 months, it shows up on Max.
Yes, I suppose if there's nothing I have on just to or that I'm watching currently, and I would be interested at the very least to see how the voices match up or how they explain whatever's going on. Even if they even do, since they're going to do like people's at least a close representation of what their voices were.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I may watch. So yeah, I'm not like dying for it to come back and to see what they do or anything, but yeah, I think I'll get into it.
But you're in. What are you watching something right now?
I'm not caught up on Rick and Morty. I'm not caught up on anything, to be honest with you.
I know. You're a family man. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I know you probably watch a lot of shows with your lady.
I need to catch up on Ahsoka. And then while I was on the plane, since it was a fucking long ass ride, I was like, I never saw Interstellar. So I was like, I put Interstellar on the plane, all fucking 3 hours. But goddamn, was that movie so fucking good?
Oh, it is? I never saw it either.
Dude, I fucking so I wasn't a big Christopher Nolan fan after the third Batman. I don't know, that left a bad taste in my mouth. I know people like it or whatever. So after that, I was like kind of down on him. But then on Oppenheimer was really good. And I don't know, man. I think I might even say that Interstellar is better than Oppenheimer. So if you haven't, if you have like 3 hours to kill and you haven't seen Interstellar, I would recommend that.
That's the one they always do the memes where McConaughey's crying.
I believe so.
Yeah, okay, that's the one. All right, next topic, sir.
That's me. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was looking at Ash's screen. I was like,
"Come on, Ash!" I was like,
"Oh shit,
we got a show to run."
Son of a bitch. All right, next one is Dune has been officially postponed to 2024.
I kind of saw this coming because of it got postponed because of the writer strikes. I didn't see the first one. I know it had like a big calling. A lot of people were really excited about it. You ended up seeing it, right, Andres?
Yeah, I actually really liked it. I was surprised how much I liked it because I was like, oh, it's got some hype. I have time to kill. Let's watch it. But it was really enjoyable. I don't know how they're going to handle the second one, but since I enjoyed the first one, yeah, I'm down to keep watching. So, was it expected? Yeah, I kind of figured they were going to delay it with everything going on. So, it's not a big giant deal on my end, especially since I'm on the side of those striking. So, cool. I'm good with it. It's something to look forward to in 2024.
What about you, Ash?
I haven't seen the first one. It's one of those. I mean, obviously, as I'm a man child, I always think of the butthole memes from it. But other than that, I do plan on seeing it, especially now there's a part 2. And I've never seen the original, which to some nerds like myself, it's like that's blasphemy that I have not seen the original. But I don't know. Timothy Chalamet, say him. He's pretty cool, and Mary Jane. I can't think of her real name.
Zendaya.
Zendaya. Yeah. So I mean, those two are really cool.
That was one of those movies that everybody was in it. There were so many people in it, and then you hear
they're gonna be like, "Oh shit."
This person's in it, yeah. But then like so many people are only like 10 minutes in the movie or something is what I heard. But I'm like, yeah, you got fucking 50 A-list actors. Like they're not all going to be main characters. Like makes sense to me.
Okay, so so you know those Sundays where you like have maybe 2 hours to yourself and you just want to laugh and hey, there's a blah 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 movie. I saw this movie with Cedric the Entertainer. It's basically RV, with a different genre, and Shannon Elizabeth's in it for like 5 fucking minutes, but she's on the cover, and I was like, oh, I didn't watch it for her. I thought it was going to be one of those like movies where the interracial dating is going to be a funny whatever bullshit thing to do, trope as they do. But it was she was in it for like it was almost like a National Lampoon's, and it was Christy Brinkley, but she was there for like maybe 10 minutes, and then but on the cover
she was his dream girl. The
dream
girl that he always saw.
Yeah,
that's interesting. You know what? I think
she was a hitchhiker they picked up.
Yeah, right.
Started saying crazy stuff, so he was blinded by her being hot, and everybody was realizing she's
or when they were skinny dipping in the pool.
Oh, you did see it, or you at least see the trailer?
Yeah, I saw the movie. I'm not that young. I'm not that young, by the way.
But yeah, she's in it for like, but on the cover, and I was like, oh, okay.
But it's like, I feel that that's a thing of the past. I don't know if they do that much anymore, but I remember like the 90s for sure.
Well, we talked about before you go into it. We talked about how they've been doing it with Bruce Willis. How his like family was propping him up, like just jamming on like as many roles as he
throw
could
him in this movie, throw him in this movie. Yeah,
yeah, and then some of them.
That's true.
Some of them, he's not the main actor. He just has a couple scenes in it, and they're throwing putting him on the cover or I know we don't have DVD or box work anymore, but they'd throw his name on like the posters and
I always think of it that way though. Yeah.
Even Expendables. I saw part 1 and I was like, oh yeah, he's in it. Just for the sake of having him and
2
Arnold
minutes.
And, yeah. And then little tag phrases and they put it on the trailer. Yeah. Or even G.I. Joe, part 2, I think, or one or two, whatever it was, but you think he's gonna be in the movie.
That he was in it.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right.
He's saying a couple lines. And he's on the cover. He's advertised like I remember. I think I saw this movie called. I think it was called Sex Drive, and the cover of it had Seth Green on it.
He was playing an Amish character. A good movie. I gotta be talking shit.
Yeah, I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah, it was.
But no. I'm saying Seth Green. Seth Green wasn't in it really. Like he was such a small role in it. Like they're traveling through these. It was like a road trip style movie, and so they stop at this Amish town. They meet Seth Green, but in like the cover art, the trailer, everything was Seth Green, and even like I remember the trailer vividly. Yeah, they're like Seth Green was hilarious.
It was
it's like, and it was God. It was such a very bare like. But it's like, hey, let's push this because this is what people would know.
Nobody else they don't know the other, the people that are the daily cast. So let's throw in. Yeah, of course, that makes sense.
Yeah,
probably like near Harley Waite and the 3 other Italian Job, the 3 other things that he did.
But I mean, clearly that shit works. Like, I remember when I bought the DVDs of Always Sunny in Philadelphia when it first came out, and season 1 it was just Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and although the people that watched it liked it, not too many people watched it, so they were going to get canceled, but they got renewed for season 2 and they're like, we need to do something, and they their agent like by somehow reached out to Danny DeVito, and that he thought the show was funny, so when they asked him to be a part of it, they're like, yeah, I want to be a part of it. So in season 2, all their marketing was Always Sunny in Philadelphia with Danny DeVito, like to get the star power of Danny DeVito to come for people to come watch. And like Danny DeVito is like the most fucking raunchiest character in that show. Like he's just so gross. But and then that saved the show. Like that.
But if it wasn't for that, you wouldn't know how like Dennis is a fucking psycho. I love Charlie Day. Like that's my favorite hands down character. Uh, uh, and Mac is cool. Mac is funny. Very delusional. And D is like, he's pretty funny. And I love when it's you guys make fun of me too much, and then when they ignore her, like, come on, guys, make fun of me. Like that's all I have to hold on to get attention. It's such a good show.
You're a bird. Yeah, it is. It's such a silly show. They don't take themselves seriously. I like it.
But they just laugh. They just call her Bird and laugh. There's no creativity to it whatsoever.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a tangent. Sorry.
That's what we're going for. You're good.
That is what we're here for.
I'm not going to yell at you today.
He got his rest. He just got back from vacation. Or he didn't get rest because he just got back from vacation.
I did it.
What's our next topic, sir?
Next topic is Godzilla Kong sequel. Also pushed back. So
the Godzilla Kong sequel also got pushed back, and that was in the same article that I read about Dune being pushed back. I mean, I know we talk about this shit all the time, but I didn't realize there was a Kong Godzilla sequel. That made me excited. I was more excited at that. I was like, there is going to be one? Like, I think it's just because we're covering so much shit. And then
it's supposed to, it's the King of the Monsters franchise now, correct?
Yeah.
That's what it's supposed to be.
But there was a King of the Monsters movie that wasn't that great. It had King Ghidorah, had good fights, had great scenes in it, but the overall movie wasn't good. But it did have Seven from Stranger Things. I forgot her name. 11, not Seven. Yeah.
I saw it. I actually liked it. I did not like that movie.
I mean, no, I mean, I did watch it in theaters twice, but
all right, bitch, you shut the fuck up.
No, but like the second time, I was falling asleep. Like I wanted to like it so bad because it was King Ghidorah and all these things, but it's like he's gonna sleep in the core of the earth and he's gonna get bigger now, and now he's it was like they were really building on it, and what do I expect? Like nothing, no meal tastes better the second time you were
expecting nothing, and I enjoyed it. So
I think in there lies our differences. I wanted great, like I was just like capitalize on the first Godzilla film, which I thought was really great.
Yeah, I thought so too.
And I wanted more of that.
Do you guys want to see like the Hulk version of King Kong where it's like crazy ass fucking swing off the stuff and like moves, or just punch and crazy like dodging? Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, like you can't have just like rock'em sock'em robots.
Agreed. Like
it was back then,
we gotta
right?
Tell a story, and we gotta have hook us somehow.
Did you guys watch Kong Skull Island?
Yes.
The one with Samuel Jackson?
Yeah.
The one with what's his face? Why can't I think of his name? I love him so much.
Brody?
With Loki.
No, Loki, yeah. Not Brody. That's the other one.
Yeah.
The one you're talking about is an older version.
Yeah, that's the older version.
Yeah.
So this was a soft reboot of that. Yeah. But in Kong Island, Tom Hiddleston, thank you.
It just came to me.
Yeah, so in Kong Island, Tom Hiddleston, not Jack Black.
Yeah, it's not Jack Black.
What the fuck's his name? He was the Step Brothers, not Will Ferrell.
John C. Reilly.
John C. Reilly, thank you. But in that film, like I enjoyed he's fighting and he's like chucking trees and doing it, and then like as he's fighting these creatures, like he gets his hand caught up in a chain, and then he like tugs it, and the chain just so happens to be connected to a warship propeller, and so he starts like swinging it like a kunai chain, and like he starts to like improvise, like he'll see something and be like, oh, that, like he saw that it like wrecked a tree, and he like looks at it, and then he like grabs the chain, like you can see him like kind of putting it together, like he stares at it, and then he starts to swing it, and he starts like fucking, like he's obviously not a martial artist, he's not doing ninjutsu shit, but like just seeing him putting it together of like, oh shit, that's right, he's an ape, he's very intelligent. That to me, like I fucking jizzed myself in the movie theater. I thought that was amazing. I was like, fuck yeah, that's great. Like I feel that with what I've seen, and this is me personally, and sorry, I don't mean to monopolize the conversation, is
Dead doggy.
it's I'm great to go into the era of Godzilla's superhero phase where he was fighting the next big bad. You know, like the first Godzilla film, I thought they did a really good job of like, I just exist, you guys are in my way.
Like,
And then they aimed him right, and they aimed him into Vegas for these other monsters, and they even had that debate in the war room, like, which I thought was so fucking dope. He's like, you plan on controlling him? Not control. Aim him. Like, he is the king. Like, you know, and because it's someone else in his domain that he wants to take out. Like, that made sense to the story. And even though he was like fucking up Vegas while he's trying to like kill this creature, kills the creature, takes a nap, goes back into the water and be like, all right, like, I'm out. Like, I didn't mean to be a hero. I just needed to kill this abomination. You know what I mean? So, and then we see another version of that in War of the King of the Monsters, where it's like, oh, this alien, the storyline, for those of you who haven't seen it, this alien comes down, so he's not from here, is now trying to claim the title of king, and then Godzilla's like, fuck you, I'm king, and so then they're fighting for the throne, and then that's where Rodan comes in, and that's where Mothra comes in, of like, who's taking whose side in this battle. So it becomes like a little civil war. We're just caught up in the crosshairs of it. Then Kong and Godzilla, that was like one of the ones where it's like they're genuinely starting to like team up to fight this thing. So I would enjoy another one of this, we'll call it a big bad, and for them to fight that and to be like, it's not that I'm doing this for humans, I just don't care about them. And then to see that route, which is what we got,
helping him out in a roundabout way because this fool's trying to claim this part, so I gotta fucking defend my throne.
Yep.
It was an enjoyable movie. So if you haven't seen the series, I would say, like, I know we're throwing out massive amounts of shit for you to fucking, and that's like solid 4 movies that we told you to watch. But it's I don't know. I didn't go into it expecting anything, except that the Kong with Tom Hiddleston is legitimately good. And
really good. Yeah.
And go ahead.
No.
I will not.
Batman versus Superman didn't even need the Martha scene.
Yeah.
Darkseid.
And the movie didn't need half the shit that went on in it, but they
did it.
No, but the landing of the fucking what's his name? Cool ass name. Doom? Not Doom. What the fuck is his name?
Darkseid? No. Oh fuck.
Doomsday? Sorry.
Doomsday.
Thank you.
If he landed and started taking out people, that would have stopped Batman, and obviously that would have stopped that alone. It didn't even need the Martha thing. Sorry. Right when we were talking about Batman, Godzilla, it just reminds me of that.
Spend so much time on that fucking movie and what they did wrong with it, where it's just like.
But just that, you just didn't even need that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're fighting each other. Wait, that guy is clearly killing people. We don't want to really, you know what I mean? I don't know. Sorry.
But you know how to fix that movie? Take out all of Doomsday and take out the death of Superman. Be like, oh, Batman realizes that Superman, even though he's an alien, he has the right intentions, and they become best friends.
What bugs me about
no, that would have been bad. I was gonna say, and clearly I understand my mistake when I say this. I was gonna say if Wonder Woman was in trouble and they both met her and went to go say, yep, I know. As soon as that would have
No, it's
90s, that would have worked. Not today.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's fucking Wonder Woman, dude. Like, she don't need no goddamn help. But
right. But I'm saying,
what I was gonna say is, as far as Bats is concerned, it's like this is the world's greatest detective, and he got caught up in a he said she said bullshit. But like this fucking alien over here, he's like, the fuck, like, and he just got so tied up in his emotions that he's like, I'm just gonna kill this motherfucker. He's doing some good. Now fuck this motherfucker. Like, and then, wait, your mom's name is Martha? Like, it's just, dude.
Wait, your mom's name is Martha too? What the fuck?
Your mom. Marty, like it was just such a.
It's like he doesn't realize it's like, hey, bitch, that's not really his
Now,
mom.
and don't get me wrong, I am trivializing that dumb scene because when I watched it, the way I saw it is it reminded him what it was to be human.
Yeah.
Like is how I interpreted it, but on the surface of it, it's like your mom's name's Martha, my name's Martha. Oh shit, we're cool now. Like it was that even when he was about to die, right? When he was about to die, this alien is saying like, "Save Martha," like save my mom. Kill me if you have to, save my mom. And that was the one piece that I thought that they did decent. I'm not even going to say well. They did decent in the film that Superman has the most humanity of all the comic book heroes, which is funny considering he's not even a fucking human.
Yeah, that's my point.
Your line
point.
right there.
It's a valid point.
Your line of "save my mom" is 20 times better than "save Martha," right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the only reason why I brought that up is because they're King Kong and Godzilla probably are gonna, in part two, have fought so much that they're gonna respect each other. Where it's like, let's take out these bitches, like almost like a Ryu and Ken thing. Like we're gonna fight, but if ever somebody else comes in, we're gonna
right. And I would be so like if the movie's opening up with Kong getting whooped on by two monsters, and like right before the killing blow, fucking Godzilla just atomic blast one of them out, and then they both like tee off on like different. Like, oh, dude.
Don't fist bump or anything, but just kind of like,
right.
like
they do cross.
The fucking Predator fucking.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Like,
it's like the scene in fucking, what is that, Rocky 4, where fucking Creed and Rocky are like fucking the hands intertwined.
Wait, they did that there too? I was just thinking about Predator with those
three.
Fucking Apollo and Arnold.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
But yeah, that's the way I could see it, so that it's not like, I mean, you know, even if it's the Joker, the only one that can kill you is me.
Yeah.
Would be cool, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, movies.
Just to make it make sense. If they're going to do 5 of them and these 2 are going to exist past Mothra, past all these fucking Robo Godzilla or whatever the fuck his name is, like
Mecha Godzilla. The story is that Mothra is the best monster, and fuck you if you don't agree.
Oh, I don't agree, so fuck me.
Moving on.
What I am interested in, though, before we move on too far from this topic, you said that when you mentioned about Christopher Nolan, that you fell off after Dark Knight Rises.
Mm-hmm.
What piece of it? Because there are parts of it where I purposely look the other way because I very much enjoyed the film.
Because
but I don't want to say it. I'm very curious to see if it's the same pieces that you thought, because it's easily the most comic booky of the 3.
So the movie in general seems like he gave up, especially compared to the second one, which is a goddamn masterpiece. And it just seemed like this is the 3rd movie that he owed. He needed it to give it in, and he was done. What did I not like? Okay, I love Tom Hardy as an actor, but that goddamn accent throughout the fucking movie, it just pulls me out every time. That does not sound fucking natural. He sounds like a fucking chimney sweep from like 1920s, fucking England. Like, that is straight bullshit. Okay. Whatever, fine. If that was the only thing with it, I wouldn't have let it bother me as much. But then that whole sequence where it's like, oh, it's a nuclear bomb. If you do this, you're gonna fucking die. And then you see him in the fucking cafe at the end with Catwoman. It's like, and he's there fucking giving a wink to fucking Alfred. Like, fuck you, man. You fucking just told us that he was gonna fucking die. There was no chance of him surviving. And oh, he's fucking Batman. He fucking survived. Like, fuck you.
But that's explained. He has the autopilot. Yeah.
They said he was gonna die, bitch. Come on. They didn't take into account that he had autopilot on it.
It did take away from the memorializing of him, because it was like, I would
have preferred him to be dead, because it's like it would have been more like it was just like that nicer thing. But they mentioned when he first got the bat, he's like, "Oh, the autopilot doesn't work. We need a smarter mind to fix it, or whatever." So then at the end of the movie, when he's like, "I just needed to know what I needed to do to make it work," it's like, "Oh, there's a patch 2 weeks ago by Bruce Wayne," and like, but yeah, I'm surprised. Okay, are those the real big ones that took you out?
There's more, I'm sure, but I just can't recall.
Because
that bothers me.
there was two pieces that bugged me.
Go
Was
for it.
the broken back thing.
Okay, that was another one that fucking bitch. You're God damn it. You're in jail in fucking that mega prison, whatever, and all of a sudden, fucking modern medicine can't fix a back that bad, but this dude touching your back in two places, and all of a sudden you're fucking
and you're hanging on there forever,
and you could fucking climb that cave all fucking
right.
sudden.
And it's like, but you're climbing the cave by doing like push-ups and pull-ups and sit-ups. So it's like that's not leg muscle. Like, and if you've been hanging for 6 weeks or however long it was, the time that they were saying, I think it was 6 weeks that they said, then your legs are going to be fucking jelly. How are you going to make that jump? I understand the logic of you need to have fear to make that jump if you know that you're secure by the rope. I understood that and I accepted that. I'm like, okay, so you have no money, you're in prison, you get out. How do you fly back to Gotham? I thought Gotham was in lockdown. Who dropped you off at Gotham? I thought you had no money. You have no ID. How did you get there? And even when you're there, the final fight scene, this always bugs me, is it's a very Civil War-esque of all the police officers with firearms, and then trained police officers, by the way. So if you're trained, why are you just marching and be like, I really hope they don't shoot me. Really hope they don't shoot me. Like, you're not going to take cover? There's no guerrilla warfare. There's no tactical, no, all of that's gone. Like, and then we've got Bruce spearheading this attack, also and he's just like looking around, looking for Bane, which in the movie I'm judging myself, but when you rewatch it, it's like, this doesn't make any sense. It's like, here's a random thug, one punch, he's knocked out. I'm still looking for Bane, found him, and then they like look at each other, they do that square, and then they start again doing the same almost frame for frame fight sequence that they had in the cave, which through an artistic standpoint, you're trying to show that Bruce has grown, and so the same tricks maybe, but it looked lazy to me, to use your word that you said earlier on this. And I was like, this is a great movie, like, you know, and
I think
I still really like the movie. I
wanted to.
I lied. I love the movie. LOVE.
I don't. Not only do I know, I feel that he just wanted to like fucking be done. Like, he did his shit. He wanted to be done.
In the end of the part 2, he's gonna be the one we're gonna blame for Harvey Dent. He's gonna be the fucking Dark Knight, the guy that whatever, the whole fucking spiel. How is part 3, at least the first half, not that? Him still trying to be Batman while everybody throws garbage at him, or
that would have been amazing,
right? Like, and then all of a sudden, Bane fucking destroys that field, and like, you remember how we hated you? Like, clearly better than what I'm telling you, but like the idea of
we need you now,
like right, like,
come and save our asses.
Because you're the one we need. You know what I mean? Like, somehow the truth comes out about Harvey Dent. You know what I mean? But there's a better story there.
Spider-Man, where he was like, "Oh, he's the bad guy now. Like, we don't like him." Like,
They did do that in Spider-Man, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Run with that, where he's the villain, or at least the people see him as a villain. And he's like, I had to do it to fucking uphold the law or justice or whatever, the system.
Where it's full force with crooks, but like little old ladies or whatever, he has to do like a different, like, stop hitting me, but I'm not going to do anything to, you know what I mean? Like,
taser.
Right? Something, you know what I'm trying to say. Like,
I get you.
It would have been, even if not even the first half, if it was like, if he gave up in the movie because of, you're showing us why he gave up.
Yeah.
Better than, here's Catwoman, but I will say, when he figures it out, she does that smile. Ooh.
Oh, Anne Hathaway, I thought murdered that role. Like, every time she was on screen, I was just like, that's fucking Catwoman. Like that initial scene when you meet her when she's like screaming at the gunshots, and then the cops are like, calm down, and they're like run past the crooks, and then she like immediately just turns back to normal and like takes up.
Yes.
Oh my God. Like
I remember because of Princess Diaries and all the stuff that she did when it was first announced, it was like, why? Like, because she's a fucking actress, bro. Like,
Interstellar is awesome.
Oh, she has it. Oh, I will watch this.
Short haircut too.
But you know, I mean, we are used to fucking great actress Michelle Pfeiffer, but
yeah,
seductive. But it fucking
I
matters.
You were going to say Halle Berry. My bad.
No, don't even. I mean,
I'm kidding. Fucking
guys.
The one we've accepted as the one true Catwoman, Halle Berry.
But when she does the ultimate bend down to fucking say, okay, well,
see, but that fucking bomb. See, but there are many, and this is why I love the movie, because there are multiple scenes that I'm just in love with, such as like when Bruce is talking to her, he's the way you start it, and then she starts, and he's like it looks like an old couple bickering.
Right.
And she just looks back at him like, I got it.
And like, he fucking is right before leaving. That's been their relationship fucking always.
Right. Yeah. Like, and even the scene with Alfred where he's like yelling at Bruce the first time he goes out after all those years or whatever. And he's like, he's like, he yells at Alfred. He's like, oh, you think that I'm not strong enough to beat him? He's like, no. He's like, you're fighting. I'm afraid that you want to lose. Like, you want to die there. Like, and that was such a deep like a lot of the conversations that happened in that movie were just beautiful, wonderful. Cause
that's why Gotham Knights sucks.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah. Gotham Knights is not good. But that whole conversation of like, he's like, you think I'll lose? No, I think you want to. So which was the reality of it. Cause he was so eager to go back out and got his knee back. And then he's like, just going into the depths of it. And he even walked into a trap to Bane because he wanted to fight Bane with everything he had. Like, and that fight scene still gives me chills. Like when when he's losing the fight and he there's no music and he screams at him. Like, it's like, why isn't this work? It was a child throwing a temper tantrum, but it's like it just felt so raw to me, and
everybody else.
Yeah. The artistic choice to not have music and just hear the fucking thuds as he's like hitting Bruce, and it's everyone in the theater that is a fan of Bruce
her listening to it.
Yes, and you see her camera, like every person that's a big Batman fan in that movie theater, we're like, get up, like he's not supposed to lose, he's supposed to win. Or how's he going to get out? And then whatever.
I'm super lame because it happened during the day, and I don't like Batman during the day. But that's a nothing.
Yeah.
Especially like Bane, I thought, I didn't know.
But also,
I don't know. I don't feel that he understood. Not understood. He wasn't clear on whether he wanted the character based in reality or based in comics, because he didn't have the Venom. Like, you could have easily said like, oh, that was steroids, so that's why he's like fucking super buff or big or whatever.
He broke bricks when he was punching Bruce, or he missed when they're fighting outside of the fucking mayor's office or whatever.
It's like that would have been a way to explain that, but then you're like, okay, he's supposed to be based in reality, but he does like all kinds of other silly shit. It's like.
See, but earlier in the movie, they also, when Bruce wore the knee brace that like repaired his knee or whatever, when he kicks the wall, he breaks the brick, and he's like, I feel good, feels damn good, or whatever the hell he says, and it's like so that was like the first step of like, hey, I know the first two films were admired because of how grounded they felt. We're gonna go comic booky, and then that was where I started to kind of like my faith started to wean off a little bit, and then the whole fucking Civil War thing of like, let's just stand in front of each other and shoot each other like gentlemen. Was like, ugh.
What if this and the blue flower in part one, the Lazarus pit and the blue flower mixed together make the Venom, that was going into his, and that way when it pulled, that's what, like, the venom was no longer, like, are we rewriting how it should have been better? But do you know what I'm saying?
I think so. Yeah.
Instead of he got beat up and whatever the fucking I need to breathe.
Yeah.
That would have been cool because it still would have made sense. Like the venom's keeping him alive as well as the other thing is making him stronger.
Yeah.
Instead of burn. You know what I mean?
That was a great impression of the Harley Quinn Bane.
Yeah. See that joke, yeah. I was gonna say that joke wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for that. But yeah, no, I'm all on board for all the downers, but I will give all the ups to how it made me feel during certain parts. The knocking on the door of that other guy, like, come on, blah, 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 and then he dies. Like, the knocking on the door of the other, I don't know if he was a sheriff, if he was a captain, if whatever he was.
Oh, but, that dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I even really liked Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character in that movie.
Yeah.
That's another thing I fucking hate. Fuck you, that fucking. Oh, I'm just gonna walk into this cave at the end. Oh, my name.
No. You spoke up before I can finish. I said I enjoyed his character, but at the end is, why don't you use your regular name, Robin? Like I was like,
oh my god,
what are we doing? Like, that felt very shoehorned. That felt like he was appeasing the
Robin's
studio.
gonna be the next Batman to go.
Right.
Shut the fuck up.
No, see that I didn't like, but I did like. I liked the way that they did that movie of we're seeing kind of the world through his perspective. It did pair off and go back and forth, but when you're looking at Gotham, you're following him. You're looking at it through his eyes, and you as the viewer, you're assuming him. And so when he's starting to see this, and then when Batman comes in towards the climax of the film, saves the day, and he's seeing it through that lens, but us as a viewer, we're seeing it with him. I thought that was wonderful. So he was a very charismatic character, loved him. And then, but once you start to see that he was leaving the breadcrumbs from the beginning that, oh, this is supposed to be part of the Bat family, that's where I was like, oh, come on, man. I enjoyed all of that. Like, why did we do this? We didn't have to do that. Like,
or yeah, no, if his last name was Grayson, but they never said it, and then like, why did you use your real name, Richard? Us as nerds would have went, oh yeah, Dick. You know what I mean? Like we would have, instead of like Robin. Did you guys all get that?
Here you go, Robin Nightwing.
Yeah.
Here's your red hood you left the other day. It's like, come on, guys, what are we doing? But yeah. Oh man, that was a really bad not bad, but that was a far tangent.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. What's our next topic, Andres?
Oh, we got to talk about shit. Oh, give me a second. Okay. Next one is PlayStation Plus increasing its price by 33%.
I don't think we're going to talk about this one too much. Two things happened in the video game world. Xbox had this. If you've never done their Premier Pass before, they would allow you to sign up for $1. So they recently took that away, and it's like if you're signing up, and it's what the normal prices are. PlayStation, they released about a year ago. They released their subscription plan, and it's like, do you want to play online and get free games? 3 free games a month. Then it's $60 a year. If you want a catalog of games that are all in there, $80 a year. And then if you want that plus all the games from like previous PlayStation consoles, comes out to like 120. So all of those price points are going up by 33%. It's once a year. I'm still going to pay it. And I understand they're giving us a lot of content for.
They should, though.
I think so.
Like that. Like if games are like, not that games are 4-player to go 6-player, because you can't really fuck with the actual game, but they need to make the consumer feel like you're getting more. If you're paying the same rent, we all rent or buy or whatever house, whatever we're doing. When things go up for the same shit that you already have, that's not fucking cool. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah,
like my rent goes up like every fucking 6 months, but it's like, nothing. You're not doing anything. You're not fixing any of the other things. You're not, you know what I mean? Like, it's just going up, but nothing's being painted. that's what I hope PlayStation wouldn't be doing in the.
It kind of seems what they're doing right now. That they might change that, or I mean, we are getting games sooner rather than later. Like we were playing Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. That's on there for free as part of the catalog when initially came out like a year ago.
I would do $200 a year, not month, a year. But everything, any game you get, all the fucking season passes are free.
Oh, that would never happen.
Right? But at least.
But I see what you're saying. It's like, let me feel like, yeah, like, let me feel like, I swear to God, when it comes to video games, I just want to feel special. They'll be like, if you're a subscription owner, you're going to get this extra skin. I'm like, fuck yeah, give me that skin. Like, it's like, that's why I buy the fuckity fuck edition. Like, I bought the whatever edition for Gotham Knights. I'm like, there's no way this game sucks. Dropped like $89 to get all these premium skins on a game that I'm going to compare it. I was going to compare it to Scott Pilgrim. I enjoyed the company I had playing it more than I enjoyed the actual game.
I played the game hoping like, oh, he's not like I don't know if it was the I don't know if it might have been Titans. He's not really dead. And then you unlock him as a character. We both thought that.
Yeah. Fun story about Gotham Knights is I didn't realize Ash had it, so I jumped into his game and he's like, let's play a quick match before I go to bed. I'm like, yeah. Turns out it was the last level, and I saw all the spoilers. Yeah. Like, but there was no build-up. Like the storytelling in this game was horrible.
You saw the 9 things I had to do. I was like, oh, let's just go fight Clayface, and we'll call it a night.
Right.
That was the end.
So we go in, and then
yeah.
So the whole game you're led to believe Bruce is dead. And so in the last fucking 10 minutes cinematic bullshit, it's like you find out Bruce is alive, you fight the final boss. The final boss is about to kill you, and then Bruce gives his life to save your life. But it's like, wait a minute, like
how does he do it?
He blew himself up, right? He blew himself up in the
suicide, which is like
the Batwing.
Not him ever.
Yeah, he killed himself by suicide, and it was just so silly
so bad. So bad.
What are we gonna do?
So bad. Didn't even make sure the motherfucker is out before he. So bad.
And he doesn't kill, but he's gonna kill this time. He's gonna kill all these motherfuckers, all these unconscious fucking ninjas that are on the floor from that we beat up. Yeah. Anyway, what's next on the docket?
The next one is Five Nights at Freddy is going to stream on Peacock at the same time as its theatrical release.
Is it fair to assume Five Nights at Freddy's is too young for this group?
Old.
Young.
Five Nights at Freddy's is like TBS days, right?
No. It's so that's what I thought too, that it was going to be based on Freddy Krueger, but I did some research right now, and it has nothing to do with that, and it's going to be like a horror movie based at a theme park. And
wait, you thought it was a Freddy Krueger thing? No, it's a video game thing.
I just looked it up. Yep, looked it up.
It's a video game thing that came out, I want to say like maybe 10 or so years ago. So a lot of the younger generation that are like in high school right now, that was their middle school game.
But Five Nights at Freddy was on TBS during Halloween, and it was 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, that was a thing prior to this.
Really? Was it animals, like electronic animals, like a Chuck E. Cheese parody?
It was just Nightmare on Elm Street. Like,
got it. No, so this is very different from that. So I see what you're saying now. The Five Nights at Freddy's is a horror game, and I still don't quite understand it. I've seen my nephew play it a couple times, but on his phone. But the premise of it is you take a security job. I'm sorry if I'm butchering this. Please let us know in the comments. You take a security job, and the premise of the game is you're sitting behind a computer, and you're looking at all the security cameras, and every security camera has like a camera on a different. Are you laughing because I'm doing this? Every security camera is locked onto like a different character, like a Chuck E. Cheese character. There's like a bird, a fucking walrus, or whatever the fuck, a bear, I think. And then there's missions that you have to do. So you have to like get up, go to the fridge. When you come back to the security, you see that the bear's moved a little bit. And then the idea is you got to do it as fast, these other missions as fast as possible, because the animals won't move while you're looking at them. But when you look away, they might move. So if you have to go get a key, you have to go do it and then come back to your station. Like, so it's a lot of that. And so kids fucking jizz themselves for it. It's like 5 of these games. And now they're making it into a movie, which is produced by Blumhouse, but which gave me a positive feeling of it. However, it's also releasing in theaters the same day it's streaming, which doesn't give me good hopes. What are your thoughts on?
They have to figure out a way that counts, and it can't be what you make in the theater. They have to count views. They have to count, and then even Succession. You're gonna see one fucking commercial, but we don't complain about it because it's not a commercial every fucking whatever. You know what I mean? And we're allowed to skip it. But do you know what I mean? Like, they gotta figure that out.
Like I agree. Like as a pure consumer, I don't give a fuck about that, right? I just give me something that I like and then I enjoy, get it to me one way or another. And like a word of mouth should be sufficient enough for us to spread it along.
Sure, but you would rather watch it at home, right?
Yeah, they needed some kind of tally. Yeah, to keep that stuff coming along. So is that a bad sign that it's getting released the same day? I don't necessarily think that it's a bad thing. Only because they had showed us that during COVID, and yes, I understand that was a specific point of time where we had theaters to go enjoy it. Or if you release something that we want to see, that we think is something prestige, that we will pay for it and watch it and enjoy it, and it doesn't affect it. Now, whether you're trying to get a movie out and not release it at the same time for home video watching, just so you could jumpstart the I guess movie industry back again, I understand that. But this isn't necessarily a bad thing in my eye. Like it isn't. We better get it at home to recoup some money, So just from what I read right now while you guys were talking, it seems good. Matthew Lillard's coming out in it, and I always enjoy Matthew Lillard. And so yeah, go for it.
No, it's a screen. I was just quoting. It's a screen, baby.
Yeah.
It made me think of we should get the Friday the 13th movie where one of us is the killer and then we all take turns being the killer. That'd be a fucking cool ass game to fucking play with all of us.
Oh, play the game. Now I was like, watch the movie? Play the game.
Well, we also should do watch alongs, which you've already talked about, but play the game would be fucking fun.
Oh, that game is fun. There's a really fun horror game that we can play as a group called Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, Dead by Daylight.
Dude, best.
So that bar I always so we have a group for the podcast where there's this bar in my hometown of Whittier that's called Guildhall that also has a spot in Burbank. So I'm sorry if you're out of state.
Guildhall is dope.
They usually play Twitch, and they have people playing usually all the time playing Dead
by Daylight.
Yeah.
Dude, that game genuinely gives you chill. It's like you got 4 people as survivors trying to escape, and then one person's the killer. It's just like making.
I think right before I stopped playing games, I had downloaded the Friday the 13th one, which is like the precursor to that. So you'd either play as Jason or as like you'd be one of like the victims and trying to survive.
Yep.
But dude, that game was so hard to play because the server was always dropping out on that. So you'd catch a good one rarely and you'd try to play.
I played that game, but it's like the really good players would just make you feel like shit. If I was Jason, they'll like flash a flashlight in your face, make you look stupid. Like it's but it was a fun game. It's an
Yeah.
interesting concept. It's an interesting like hide and
But us
seek.
playing where we don't know how to play.
That'd be dope. Let's make it happen.
I didn't know there
Any?
were people that like know how to fight back with a flashlight and all
Oh
that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
It
there's
sucks.
people that kill the villains all the time on that shit.
Yeah, it sucks. It's annoying. I know. And then especially when they start like doing the little teabag motion, like they're taunting you, and it's just like,
They're all
what are you
crouching on your
doing? What are you
face.
doing, man? I'm
I
playing
don't
this
play
for
Call of
fun.
Duty.
I worked 40 hours trying to play for fun. Like, yeah.
I still remember that when I was playing fucking Halo 2 and I was still
Oh
doing
yeah,
it.
you just see that like
Please,
this
sir, stop
motherfucker.
crouching
Yeah.
on my face.
Yeah. And then it was so popular that in Halo 3 they added a mechanic in the game that if you teabag a dead player, like their head, like a suction cup, goes up with
Oh,
like
that's
they
awesome.
did it to like just fucking salt the wound that much more. But um, any other thoughts on Five Nights at Freddy's? Okay. What do we have next on the docket, sir?
So these are our last two topics. I don't know which one you want to go into. We're doing our initial review on Ashoka, or we're going to go into One Piece. What do you want to do?
We're gonna go with One Piece because the Ashoka person walked away and he did this
like
motion.
literally right when I was thinking about it.
And throwing it up to Ash. Just kidding.
Oh, look at him. He's back.
We'll start with
Water.
Okay, well we can start with you then, sir. We're gonna start with initial review of Ashoka. No spoilers.
Okay.
Just what are your initial thoughts?
I think that they have chosen a way to do it where I don't know who everybody is, but it's not hard to figure out.
Okay.
Instagram and other stuff has made it seem like if you don't follow this and saw Rebels and saw this and saw that and saw fucking Ahsoka growing up, you're not gonna know what the fuck is happening. Not really. Like, fuck, when we first saw Vader, like, he just showed up on a ship and started fucking up everybody. Like, we just knew that's Jaws. We need to save this fucking chick. You know what I mean? Like, that's all you need to know.
That's a very interesting, like, very clear and concise way of explaining the initial plot.
Right? That's the bad guy. Killed everybody in the room.
Save this bitch.
Established, right?
Fucking dick.
And I do know her from Mandalorian. And it's like already accepted. The way everybody talks to each other, especially with her and Mary Elizabeth Winstead, there's a camaraderie there where they've been through stuff. And I guess that's where we're supposed to be like, oh, because she was in blah, blah, blah. But like, it's established so well that it's not a thing. It's not a, oh, you don't know how they know each other. Like, it's, you could give a fuck.
Yeah.
The point is, we have to do fucking this. It's a, we know each other, go here. God damn. There's so many great parts. There's a very Blade part and Marvel Blade part that I don't want to say, like, to the nth degree. But it's very good. She's very established. Rosario Dawson's awesome, but it's almost like The Mandalorian where everybody else shines because you know who to depend on. I'm the fucking story. So that's fucking awesome. And that's what I could say without spoiling anything.
Okay.
But I saw the first two episodes. what I'm waiting for again is the insurity and the learning of how she got to be this, as opposed to what we've seen in maybe not Clone Wars. I'm probably quoting the wrong fucking thing. But when she was a little kid and she was like, "But why do I blah 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 blah?"
That's Clone Wars.
Anakin being all fucking, "Just move, bitch!" Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember that scene. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like,
I do.
I'm trying to save you. I'm trying to this. I'm trying to that. And would be awesome is that moment of where your teacher became this. And I'm hoping that, again, I haven't seen anything animated, so if it already happened, I'm sorry, and I will promise I will watch it. But from becoming fucking, like if Grogu fucking all of a sudden fucking Mandalorian turned bad, like, you fucking raised me, what do I fucking do? Instead of going with you, I need to, you know what I mean? Like, if that ever fucking happens, I want to see that moment where, like, no, bro, I'm gonna do everything you fucking taught me before you became tainted. Yeah. I would want to see that. Even if it was like, I'm about to kill you, fucking Ahsoka, and then like there's a fucking flashback scene of like, hi, and here's a little flower, or whatever the fuck is gonna happen. Like, the one thing I couldn't fucking do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'd be fucking cool. Again, for everybody that's seen the animated thing and that's already happened, fuck, I'm sorry.
What's your what would be your rating out of 10? Okay. As of now. And I'll ask you once the season ends, I'll ask you again because that may change. But as of right now with what you've seen.
My rating out of 10 would be a 9. But again, I don't know if they're going against the show, the comic books. I don't know what they're going against. That's okay.
That's your opinion. Your
right.
opinion, man. Yeah.
Right. So I'm going with a 9.
That's a really strong rating.
I don't know what they're. Again, there's somebody upset because it's not going with the books and it's not going with the Rebels or.
Yes, for yours. Yeah. What do you feel?
Yeah. So if you think 9,
I'm going with a 9.
So if you say 9, do you look at me and Andres and being like, y'all are missing out, you guys need to get on this right away?
No, not at all. Because
then that's
again,
not a 9.
I feel like you guys will watch it and be like, oh, okay, but do you remember issue 37 when, and like, oh, okay, I don't know that they're fucking up.
I feel like you're being too gracious with that offering, because if you saw some shit, and you've done this before, and we're going a little behind the
I like it. Okay. I like
you have texted us before and being like, dude, this is the shit. Like, y'all need to watch blah, blah, blah.
Okay, that was what's to say. And I was late to that. But there's the Jedi she is now, and is very Qui-Gon. Why didn't you give her a chance? Why didn't you this? Why don't you that? Blah, blah, blah. You guys don't understand. Which is very much Mandalorian talking to her about Grogu. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is not the ways of this. This is not how we do things, or blah, blah. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, with, also Qui-Gon was also the guy that was like, well, then he's under his wing. He'll, you know what I mean? Like, he figured out a way to fucking do it.
Yeah.
The action is very good. Again, I don't know what's going against everything. Thawne is being brought up. They haven't shown him, but I feel like they have. I feel like he's the blue guy with red eyes.
He is.
He got brought up. We're stuck in this storyline for the first 2 episodes. So I don't know. I'm excited for Thawne, but even then, it's not. I can turn this on and be like, oh, I saw episodes 4 to 6. I'm gonna enjoy this. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of have had to need to know. Like Thawne, I only know because of the video game. I think that was a random. Might not have been a video game, but I know of Thawne. I know exactly how I described him. It's a video game, or it's a Force Unleashed, or he's in a video game of something.
Maybe a mobile game or something.
Yeah, he's in a something where like I've seen him before, and it's more like somebody that's read the books, like, oh, that's Thawne, and he blah 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 blah. Same way I know Darth Maul has 8 legs. Like, you know what I mean? Like yeah. But I like it.
So 9 out of 10, you're sticking by it.
I've only seen the first 2 episodes. I will go 9 out of 10.
Okay. I will give you shit on your opinion, sir. Well received, and you heard it here.
So take that with a grain of salt.
Also your opinion, sir. Don't you worry. And the other piece that we were gonna, no pun intended, was gonna be One Piece. We're gonna talk about that. I'm the only guy that saw
Ahsoka. Is that what we're doing?
Say that again.
No, we haven't seen it. Okay.
That's what we were asking for your opinion, because we're like, we don't know.
We'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
Andreas, do you remember the part where fucking Selena just fucking shoots the fucking and makes a fucking hole and just falls down and it looks fucking beautiful?
I love how you're like, remember when the fucking did fucking this and fucking this happened and fucking.
But you know exactly what I'm talking about.
And I do.
Underworld, when she fucking shoots the part and then she makes a fucking and lands beautifully. That shit happens 4 times. It's beautiful. Anyway, go on.
Now I have to watch.
So One Piece is an anime. It's been going on for a very long time. It's over 1,000 episodes right now. It's still going. That was one of my initial concerns when I heard it was going to come to live action.
That was also a book, though, too, right?
It was a manga and anime, yes. Or is a manga and anime, and it's still running.
Okay.
I'm sometimes a really big fan, and sometimes I hate it, and sometimes I feel indifferent. Because it's such an ongoing series, you'll get through a really good season, and then you'll go through a season that you're not really invested in, but they, as the creators of it, are like, we're going to throw 100 episodes in this particular season. And it's like, then I fall out of it, and then I'll hear something through the grapevine that something happened. I'll get back in it, and then I'm good. So anyway, long story short, it's a roller coaster of emotions. I saw the first episode, which was about an hour. There's 8 episodes out on Netflix now. It does a really good job of summarizing the anime. So you don't have to have seen the anime to understand the live action, which is what some anime adaptations have done. So I'll watch them with my wife, and she'll like have questions, and she'll be like, did this happen in the anime? And I'll be, oh yeah. And I'll start giving explanations. This did it, I thought, very well.
It's cool that she does that.
Yeah, because it tells me that it shows me that she gives a shit. Like, the moment I see her pick up her phone, I'll just be like, do you want me to watch this on my own?
The only reason I bring that up is because, say, like, if I'm watching wrestling or whatever, like, there's the people that you can be with that are like, okay, so I got to the point where I'm watching in another room. But, you know, in the beginning, it's like, oh, that's Hulk Hogan is his name? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's cool. They take an interest.
Okay. That is cool. Like, because you at least give me the illusion that you give a shit.
Right.
Which is good.
When we watch, like, reality shows, like, oh, basketball wives, that's cool.
No, what's funny about that is, like, I always talk shit, but then I'll always be in there with my phone, and then I'll be looking up, and I'll be like, wait, what's her deal? Like, and I'll be asking genuine questions. Yeah. Anyway.
Same. And then there's like the one hot one that gets brought onto the island or whatever, and it's like, oh,
I'll watch this for a while.
But then you're in trouble. Like, oh, well, okay, I didn't even want to watch this.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, fucking Lauren comes in there and like, oh,
hi. I'll check this out.
I don't mind this. I mean, yeah. It's always funny.
But so One Piece.
But when we watch, and then they love Logan, and then they love Thor. Like, Yeah, it's the same
All
thing.
of a sudden, yeah. Chris Evans is. I'm a Captain America fan. Like, no, you're not. You're a Chris Evans fan.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Captain America book? That's what I thought. One Piece is fun. It is a little cartoony. You have to watch it with that mindset because it's doing, and I'll give it praise for this. It's mimicking the anime so well. But the thing about anime, and this is something Ash has talked about before, sometimes certain things are wacky. Like they don't quite do it like an anime does, where if something silly happens, how they fall down and then they get back up or whatever. Like that sort of thing doesn't happen. But the acting seems like it's clearly intended for a younger audience, but it's not so much that it's cringy for adults. Does that make sense? Like it's not like you're watching the script of fucking Spy Kids. Like it's not like that. However, it's entertaining for maybe someone that's an adult that likes One Piece that's watching it with their kid. I can see that. But I would say like maybe preteen or teenager is probably their main focus because they do drop the occasional curse word, but it's not heavy. It'll be like
hell or damn.
It's like at 45 minutes in, he'll be like, you keep this up, I'm gonna kick your ass. Like something like that. Or he's like, what's your oh, you have a number on your head. Oh, can you put this number on your head? Like those are two little things that it's like, okay, we don't want a child to see those things, but it's clear that the vibe of it is much more lighthearted. But major kudos. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
but major kudos for them to be able to create
adults. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Child wants to be an adult, and then once you figure out you're an adult, you're like, fuck, this was the time of my fucking life.
Yeah.
Being a parent also is fucking amazing. Also fucking having your own place. There's other fucking milestones that are fucking amazing, but there's no bills, there's no this, there's no fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to be an adult with nothing attached to you.
Let me just get money and continue to live in my parents' house. But
if I mow the lawn, I get fucking money, and it's on a Saturday, and the rest of my, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't have to go to school. I don't have to go to work. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Not the same. I really, really enjoyed the first episode because it's such a long running show. The first episode, I would say, maybe covered 25 episodes of the anime. So I believe it does a good job of like filling you in and then getting to the next part of the story. But it's hard to say because I've watched the anime. So maybe in my head, I'm making connections that the first time viewer may not know.
Yeah.
Like, because I looked over at my wife, we watched it earlier today. And I'm like, what do you think? And she's like, I liked it. I'm like, do you want to watch another episode? She's like, no. I'm like, okay. Like,
are they catching you up, or are they doing what they did in the comic? Or
they're doing what they did in the anime, but shorter. They're changing some stuff, but not enough to upset you. It's like the storyline is still pretty solid, and it's like they're just throwing the live action flavor to it. But the heart and the soul.
If you saw episode 1, what anime are you on? Like 4?
Episode 1 probably went through 25 episodes of the anime.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying. It moves really fast, but this is also an anime that's 1,000 episodes in, so it's very similar to Dragon Ball Z, where it has a lot of filler and a lot of nonsense, and so the live action really cuts that down. The only downside is you don't spend as much time with the characters, so you don't feel emotionally invested. And so I did a quick glance on the episodes, and it looks like by episode 4, some really heavy things start to happen. And it's like, are we going to care about these characters enough? They're like an hour a pop, so it's an investment for you to get in it. So you may feel emotionally invested into these characters, but it's hard to say. I want to see the next one and the next one. Like these characters have very fantastical abilities, like very X-Men-y type abilities, And that's where I'm like, if you don't have a good budget for it, it may come out looking pretty shitty, but it's not that bad. Like, it is, you can see it's a lower quality CGI, but they use a lot of practical effects and a lot of like camera, like speeding up, slowing down effects to really make the fight choreography look good. It never takes me out of it. Like, the first time I saw it, like in the trailer, I was like, oh, it's going to look like that. I'm like, okay. And I prepared myself, but the choreography is very impressive. There's like swordplay, there's martial arts. It's like, it's a fun thing to put on if you've ever been curious about One Piece. With just the one episode, I would give it an 8 out of 10. It stays true to the source material, and it's comedic, but it may be comedic because I know like they'll sometimes repeat some of the jokes that are in the anime, and I just like their delivery of it. But it is a lighthearted thing if you're just looking for something to throw on. I'd say check it out.
Sometimes it's just a confirmation of what you read, and they played it exactly how you saw it.
Yes.
And then that gives it a bigger up than like a Christian Bale that maybe play it a different way. Be like, oh, like Heath Ledger, I know what we did. Heath Ledger, like when we first saw it, I was like, oh, fucking 10 things I hate about you, guy. Like, and then all of a sudden he's playing it, like you know. And then especially when we first saw the fucking, he looks all fucking Sanford and Son Joker. Like we didn't know what they were gonna do. You know what I mean? But yeah. So there's a difference between what you know and
very much so.
I go into that and love every episode, everything that you're talking about. But there's going to be a time where they start to do this.
Yes.
And I'm like, it's amazing. And you're going to be like, but they did this.
And I try not to be that person because it's like, we've talked about this before. The first time you eat a meal is going to be the best way you taste it. Like when you regurgitate it and you eat it again, it's not going to taste the same as much as you want it to, and we'll see reboots or remakes or sequels. And it's just like, the magic isn't there. This does feel like its own thing, but it's also gives a big respect to where it came from, which I love. And I'm like, okay, you have respect for this property. And
all the times that you topped out, maybe they went straight to all the times they didn't go to that because everybody tapped out. We lost readers, viewers, whatever.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like we got to do all the good things that we did with the anime.
Yes, sir. I agree. All right. Well, that takes us right to the end of our episode of Comix. Thank you for everyone that's tuned in, listening to this. If you're listening this far and you haven't done it yet, please give us a thumbs up on our little video there. That does help spread our algorithm and viruses around. And leave us a comment on YouTube. We will read and showcase it on the next episode. Outside of that, does anybody else have any last comments before we end this thing? All right, that is a unanimous. We love you very much. That's the last thing we wanted to say. Everybody have a wonderful rest of the day, and we'll catch you guys next week.